Last episode, we had a transfer special, and since you were last here, 4 new signings, and I feel now ready for our first game of the season. Today, we are going to be taking on Villa. Lots to catch you up on. New transfers, new tactical tweaks, and, well, you might have spotted it in the bottom corner. We also have a brand new hot prospect. Shall we get into things? Yes, folks, how is it going? And welcome back to Arsenal. Today is episode number 12. Today is the start of season 2. Today, we take on an Aston Villa side who Steven Gerrard is still manager of. And last year, they finished 9th. It's not going to be an easy season, but I'm hoping that with the new additions that we've made, not just last episode, but also since we're last here, we're going to be able to do a little better than our pre-season prediction. We are currently penciled in to finish 5th. Just as a little reminder, the board, well, they want Europa League football. I want Champions League football. Now, since you were last here, we have been busy in the transfer market. 2 sales of note. The first, Mukhtar Diakhaby, the man who we picked up last year as a bit of a squad player. With the addition of Todibo to the side, I just feel like we can move him on. Atleti made a bid of 14 million. It's a massive amount of profit based on what we paid for him. And given the fact he was going to be our kind of 4th, 5th, probably even 6th choice centre-back, it just made sense to cash in on him. The other man who has left us is Flores. The Mexican international at youth level is an exciting prospect, but when Newcastle United came in and offered £10 million, I felt like I kind of just had to take them up on this offer. He's going to be 20 years old in a couple of months' time, and whilst he might have a bit of potential, his current ability is lacking. We have better prospects in similar positions, and ultimately, 10 million is a lot of money. Now, of course, last episode we picked up David Raya, Ivan Toney, Todibo, and Kessié. We've added 4 more players. And the first, another Norwegian to our ranks. Sander Berg has joined us from Sheffield United. Of course, Sheffield United, a team that we took on twice last year in Cup competitions. We picked him up for £10 million. He is going to offer a little bit of depth in the centre mid position. Of course, he's naturally going to fit into our club kind of social groups because of his Norwegian nationality. We've already got Odegaard, we've already got Andreas as well. And ultimately, he's a really, really good, versatile centre mid option. Bit of depth that we were lacking. Besides the addition of Berg, 3 further transfers, these kind of more squad options, I suppose, players for the future. The first is labelled as our new hot prospect, and it is this man, Vitor Roque. I hope I'm saying that correct. Portuguese viewers and Brazilian viewers, let me know down below. Ultimately, though, this guy is 18 years old, looks like a fantastic prospect, a player who is going to come in and kind of be our 3rd or 4th choice striking option, a player who I'm sure will make appearances on off the bench. You can see lots of 14s, 15s and 13s. If they can all just progress a little bit, given the fact he's 18 years old, he has got a bright future ahead of him. Picked up for £15.5 million. You can see previous 2 years was playing in Brazil. Is it a significant sum of money? Yes. Is it a risk? I don't necessarily think so. With his current value and his potential, I think worst case scenario, we sell him on for profit. Best case, this man becomes a player we can build around. The final 2 signings, 2 English youngsters. The first is Bursic. We picked him up from Stoke. I needed a 3rd choice goalkeeper. This man kind of fit the bill quite nicely. Last year was playing regular football in the Championship. We picked him up for £3.5 million. He's homegrown in nation. I wanted to get in a couple more English players. He adds to that quota. And as far as 3rd choice goalkeepers go, I think he'll do the business. The final player I decided to pick up was kind of the reason why I was happy to sell on Diakhaby, and it is this man, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. We picked him up from Manchester City. He's 21 years old. He's English, has got some great current ability, mega consistent performer, and I feel like if he can just improve a little bit, he's going to be a great option. Given the fact we were able to pick him up for £5 million as well, I feel like we've got a little bit of a bargain. We talked about it last episode. English players come at a premium in kind of a post-Brexit economy. If we can develop him and sell him on, great. There's a small part of me that wants to believe that this potential could be fulfilled, but at 21 years old, we're obviously conscious of the fact that we can't expect the craziest of growth. Nevertheless, as a bit of a squad option, a player who will sit in the under-21s, we can call upon if necessary. I think at the price we paid, it's a pretty good deal. So going into this new season, this is how we'd line up if everyone was available. Sadly, it's not the case. Saka is currently out with an injury. Elsewhere, we've got Gabriel and Zinchenko suspended for the first game of the season. But I think when you look at it, this is a very strong starting 11. We've got Rodrigo on the left, Kessié in at the back, Todibo at centre-back 2, Andre Santos this year. I'm putting a lot of faith in to be our go-to box-to-box midfielder. I genuinely think he has some crazy, crazy quality. If he can develop, he's going to be an immense player for us to have. Going to be very, very keen to keep an eye on his development, but if he doesn't quite live up to expectation, we've got the likes of Sander Berg that we could bring into the team at 25 years old, obviously a great squad player. We have Barreiro, who could potentially come in, and elsewhere at centre mid, we do also have Maitland-Niles in case of emergency. I really don't want to have to play him too much if I can avoid it, though. And actually, one thing that is amazing about our squad this year is this can be one of our starting 11s, but I have kind of got the B team set up, and it really gives you a good indicator as to the depth we have. That this could be our rotated 11. Andreas into the team, Martinelli on the left, Vieira on the right, Mukiele, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko as a back four. I think you can see here, we have depth this year. We should be competing on all fronts. It's one of the reasons why I really believe we can finish top 4 this year. Now, I have decided to make a couple of changes going into this season. One of the big ones, focusing more on wide attacking play. We have some great players in the wide area, and last year, whilst we were looking for the overlap, and we did occasionally use the wider areas of the pitch, we were playing a fairly narrow style of play. I want to stretch the pitch, make it big. I think that's going to help us find passing lanes and be able to build up the play like I want to see us do, passing it through. Whilst I have got work the ball into the box at the moment, depending on what our chance creation's like, I might end up changing that. Elsewhere in transition, you can see here, last year we weren't countering, we weren't holding shape, we were kind of just doing neither. Given the fact that we've got so many quick, pacey, exciting attacking players, I want to try and get the ball forward quickly if there are turnovers in possession. I feel like on the counter, we could be lethal this year. Elsewhere, I've made the decision to switch Ramsdale to throw it long as opposed to kick it short. Ramsdale's distribution is very, very good, but from my anecdotal experience playing the game this year, it just kind of feels like throwing is better. And finally, out of possession, I'm going to be trying to force teams to go a little bit wider. I feel like with our centre-backs, we've got phenomenal ability in the air, and Ramsdale's no slouch either. With that in mind, I feel like it makes sense to try and force teams wide, be compact in the middle, and ultimately, our defenders in the wide area, Tomiyasu and Tierney, at least in my best 11, are two players who are rather adept at defending, and I think can win one-on-one battles throughout this season. Now, just before we get into the Villa game, a quick look at our fixture schedule for the year. We've got a very big game on the horizon. Tottenham is going to be coming your way next episode, away from home. After an international break, I'm hoping we're going to be in a good position to win there. Elsewhere, Liverpool loom, but besides that, we do have an easier run of games up until the start of December and, well, the end of November. We have Manchester United, Chelsea, Man City. That's a sequence of games I'm not looking forward to. All in all, though, despite the various new additions to the team, I feel like we're in a really good spot. Team cohesion is high, club atmosphere is really good, of course, off the back of last season. The support I have as a manager is really good too, and well, hopefully, it's all going to come together for the first game of the season. So for today's game, as I already mentioned, Saka unfortunately unavailable, coming back from injury. He will be on the bench, but Vieira is going to start for us. Last year, he was a really, really important player for us, so I feel like I can have trust in to come in and do a job as a starter. Of course, Aston Villa at home is a game we absolutely need to win. And with the new additions of Rodrigo, Kessié and Todibo, I'm hoping we're going to see an elevation in our performance versus last year. So here we are, the start of a new season. Last year we finished third, and I do feel a little bit weird about it because I think despite finishing third, obviously it was a Winter World Cup year, that mixes things up. Man City and Liverpool really underperformed. They were teams that I expected to see much more from. It was actually a very low point scoring season. I think the aim for this year is get top 4 football, really mount a title challenge next year. Of course, if we can win it this year, fantastic. But I am very kind of aware of the fact that last year lots of people slipped up. It's very unlikely that the points total that won the league last year will win it again this year. But if it does, that'd be great. I want to see progression, and I want to see Jesus score with what would have been the first minute of the season. Unfortunately, the keeper has stopped it. It's been cleared away, but a good sign. Hopefully, Jesus is going to start this season better than he ended last year. Kessié in possession, of course, making his debut today. Keep a keen eye on him. And, of course, Rodrigo out on the far side. Jesus, though, gifted the ball. Has an effort that's blocked. Goes out for a corner. Can we make something of set pieces? Last year, we didn't really make enough of them. It's going to be Fabio Vieira on his left foot, looking to whip it in. He's going to put it in. And I'll tell you what, he's going to find Ben White. The referee, though, he's checking something. Todibo might have been offside. It was a corner. Are you telling me that Todibo was in front of White who headed the ball? And because they had no one on the post, it's not offside. We don't need to worry about it. Would have been weird to see an offside given for a corner. In the end, Ben White's headed it in. Martinez, the former Arsenal man, couldn't keep it out. And with that, we take an early lead. So far, so good in this game. We've been in control, but can we get a second goal and get some breathing room? Vieira holds it up nicely, tries to float it towards the back post. It's cleared away, but Kessié, well, he was there to mop up the pieces initially, but then he's dropped all the pieces on the floor. Fortunately for us, though, he does manage to get back and win the ball, of course. We've brought him in, playing as that centre mid on defend this year, hoping he's going to be good defensively, and hoping that Rodrigo is going to be good in the final third. Signed for £37.5 million, rejected by Real Madrid, told that he didn't have a future at the club. It's taken him less than 45 minutes to get his first goal, cutting in from that left-hand side onto his stronger right foot. Odegaard's switch of play was really, really nice, but the composure just to stand up, get his head up, wrap it around the defender and find that bottom corner is sublime. And so far, everything is coming together. I mean, if it's anything like last year, it's all going to go horribly wrong in the second half. But at least for now, I'm quite happy. Tierney on the far side. 1 minute left of this half. Rodrigo, the goal scorer, floats it towards Jesus, who hits the crossbar. No one reacted on our side of things. Diego Carlos gets it away from danger. A third before half-time. That would be the final nail in the coffin. Unfortunately, dealt with, but not maybe completely. We've already scored one corner. This one is dealt with. Andre Santos going to keep it alive, and then, well, he's not kept it alive there, has he? He's just given away the ball, but he does win it back. He and Kessié working as little workhorses in the middle. Engines to our midfield, allowing the more creative players in front to thrive. So far in this match, they really have thrived. Everyone in the final third putting in a great performance, with the exception of Jesus, but we won't dwell on that too much. Maybe one last chance from this corner here to end the half. Andre Santos keeps it alive. Can we get something on goal? No. It's half-time. 2 goals to the good. Going to tell the players I'm pleased. I think they've had 1 shot on target, Aston Villa, in that half. Yeah, they've had 1 shot on target. A third goal, I think, would be game over. And I thought for a second Ben White was maybe going to grab his second of the game. Jesus, he's on a 6.6. You know what? Ivan Toney. I've come up in for some flack for the Ivan Toney signing. He's going to show us what he's all about. He's like the hokey cokey. He is what it's all about. He puts his right foot in, his right foot out, in, out, and then he scores a lot. That's how the song goes, right? 15 minutes played of the half. He's not done any of that scoring stuff yet. Tomiyasu's not exactly having the best game in the world, so I'm going to bring in Mukiele. Elsewhere, though, it's been a very, well, relatively strong team performance. Fabio Vieira on a 7.0. I'm actually going to take off here and bring in Emile Smith-Rowe. We'll save 2 subs for now as well. There could be a chance. Rodrigo, his efforts blocked away. Ollie Watkins now looking to maybe inspire a counter-attack. So far in this game, we've looked really good defensively. Of course, we have changed the centre-mid roles. Last year, we were playing with a ball-winning midfielder on defend and a centre-mid on support. This year, centre-mid on defend alongside a box-to-box midfielder. Very interested to see how those function. Thus far in this game, I feel like Santos and Kessie have shielded the defence quite well. Villa have not created much here. Rodrigo scored on his debut. I'd love to see Toney score on his debut as well, of course. He's a bit of a different option for us. A bigger, taller, stronger striker. The kind of man who's going to work hard when we bring him on. And as a sub option, I think he can be a great plan B. He's lurking away in the middle. We can't find him with the initial ball, but Tierney keeps the ball alive. He's going to try and turn his man. Gives it inside to Santos, who's going to cut inside, stand up. And was that a pass? Apparently that was a pass that he's done there to Todibo. I'm not going to question it because we still have the ball. Tierney, can he get it to the byline and maybe get a cross in? Gives it back to Santos. Back with Tierney. Lovely build-up play. Ball's in. Emile Smith-Rowe scores in off the post. Lovely, lovely build-up play down the left-hand side. Of course, this year, as I said, we're going to play wider. We're going to put more of a focus in these wider areas. Tierney and Andre Santos, little give and go. Lingon, he's just been left in the dust. And then Emile Smith-Rowe, in off the post, great header. Smith-Rowe, not the kind of player you expect to score those kind of finishes, I feel like. Odegaard is looking a little worse for wear, so I'm going to take him off and bring in Andreas. But besides that, I think that's going to be my last change. No more changes, Your Honour. We're just going to make the 4 today. It's been a really good team performance, 3-0. Like I said, Villa still haven't created anything. They've not even had a shot on target in this second half. Cue them now to maybe score here. Lingard crosses it in. White gets it away. Smith-Rowe gets his noggin on it. Ivan Toney going to look to hold up and maybe allow some of our quicker, more exciting young players to get in. Not that Ivan Toney's not exciting, but he's not the kind of man who I feel like is going to be a spark of creativity. He's going to be there to wrap it all together. Or in this case, Andreas is going to be there to wrap it all together. Rodrigo with the assist. It's a 4th goal. We've looked superb today. Quickly approaching the end of this game, it's just been a clinic in finishing. Yes, striker-wise, we've not seen the best of performances, but from our midfield, it's been great. And despite having an XG of below 2, we've managed to score 4, and win in rather dominating fashion. I want to sit here and say, with that result, we go top of the table, but we don't. Man City beat Newcastle 7-0. 7! Rafael scored 4. They're going to be tough to beat this year, aren't they? You know what? They can score 7. Rodrigo still joint top of the average rating chart. Really good debut for him. A goal and an assist. Hopefully a little bit of a taster of things to expect this season. Now, as I already mentioned, next episode we're going to come back for the North London derby, but do be aware, I still have a transfer budget of £75 million. I still have wage budget to spare. We could still do some transfer dealings between now and next episode. Right now, there's nothing going on the ins or outs. Don't be surprised if that's changed when we return. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. A great team performance against Villa. Hopefully a taster of things to expect next time. We're going to have the North London derby. Depending on scheduling as well, I think we're going to come back for Champions League football as a bit of a double header. Hopefully you guys are excited for it. Hopefully I see you guys then. And until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.